Hi there, I'm Java Jim with First Line Equipment, and today in front of us we have the Lelit PL41EM Espresso machine. Now we do also have another version called the TEM, which has the PID. This machine doesn't have the PID, but is also a wonderful machine to make espresso at home. Keep it simple, stupid, which is the KISS principle. And we're going to go over today on how to use this machine. We're going to make espresso, we're going to froth milk, and basically show you how to operate this wonderful machine. This is the packaging that the machine comes in right here. There is foam inside. We do inspect every machine that leaves here at First Line, and in a lot of cases we will put extra packaging material on the inside. And just to show you what's in the current shipment is you have the bag that goes over the machine, but also this blow-up packaging. Sometimes we will add extra blow-up packaging on the inside so the machine arrives safely. So every box will be opened, machines will be inspected to make sure there was no damage in transportation to us from Italy, as well as no damage in our warehouse. So this is the machine right here. Views back and front. Back here you have the cord that gets plugged in, electrical cord here. And then it comes with a 57mm portafilter with the 2-cup basket. Plastic tamper. Now, I've always told customers in the past, conspiracy in Europe with these plastic tampers. Let me explain why there's a conspiracy. Why don't these manufacturers include a good tamper with every espresso machine? It's because they conspire with the tamper companies. So you could buy a better tamper. Some machines do come with a better tamper, but they're much higher priced. Is this adequate? Yes, it is, but I do suggest getting a high quality tamper that has a metal base. In this machine, it's a 57mm wood or metal handle that goes on top. The weight will help you with the leveling and also with the tamping. Good to start with. If you don't have the budget for better tamper, you can still use the one that's included. Also, we have a pod basket for ESC pods. I'm not a big fan of these because the water typically goes around the pod. They will work, but the machine is really designed for freshly ground coffee, espresso coffee. And then you have your single basket here, which is a little deeper. So you'll see the difference right there. And then another conspiracy is the scoop, and this scoop, plastic scoop, I really don't care, but if you watch some of my other videos where I say overfill the basket, you can use it to level it off. So a good tool for that, dual purpose. All right, we're gonna get started right now. Stay tuned, let's get moving. So the first step, before we even plug in the machine, is to read the instruction manual in its entirety. This is really, really important because if you don't start up the espresso machine, and this is any espresso machine, the right way, you can actually damage it, and then your first claim is that it's defective. So machines that are coming from Europe, it's really important to read the manual, and in some cases we actually supplement information on our website because in some cases the manual is not as good as it should be from some manufacturers. So please read the manual, please read the product on our website, get a full understanding, and you will get years of useful life out of your espresso machine. So the first step here is we want to make sure that none of these buttons are engaged inwards, make sure they're all out. When you fill the reservoir over here in the back, it's best to fill the reservoir outside of the machine in case you overfill it, you get some spillage inside. Not necessarily this machine, but other machines. If you get water on the black paint, the enamel paint starts peeling, you get rust. Sometimes if you overfill it here, you can get electronics wet, electric circuitry wet. So it's really a good idea to always fill the reservoir outside the machine. Really, really good idea. And then the last step is to get the electrical plug-in, and this is how it basically inserts, and get that in. And then let's go back towards the front. We're gonna turn on the machine. We're also gonna put a steaming pitcher under the wand, because the first step is to get water from the tank to the boiler. These machines in the lower price range don't have auto refill, so it's really important to do that. And we're gonna open up the steam valve by turning the knob counterclockwise, and then we're going to press the power switch on and the coffee switch. And now we know there's water in the boiler when we have water coming out of the group head and water coming out of the steam wand. And if you don't want water to come out on this particular machine out of the group head, you actually press the steam and the hot water button. I'm sorry, the steam and the coffee button, and water will come out of the water wand only. And it's already getting warm, so we're gonna close this valve by turning clockwise on the knob. And after you steam milk on this machine, about 1 to 2 cups, to bring the temperature down from steam mode to coffee or espresso mode, you do have to run water through the steam wand. That's to bring the temperature back down. If not, you're going to be using steam to make espresso. So this is what we call a dual purpose single boiler. There's one boiler, dual mode, coffee mode, steam mode. Now the machine's going to take about 5 to 10 minutes to warm up. While it's doing that, we're going to go over this frothing aid that's attached. Now the TEM PID model has a normal steam tip and a normal one that's multi-directional. This one only goes from side to side. Lower price on the machine, so of course the features are going to be a little different. It is a burn type wand, so they do have a plastic grip there. And some customers have steam milk without the frothing aid. What the frothing aid does is it allows air to get injected with the steam and builds up more froth. So if you're going to go more latte with just more steam milk, I suggest taking this off. If you want more froth or you're a beginner, I would suggest putting that on in place. And how does the air injection happen? That little hole right there. So typically that needs to be at the level of the milk froth or above it. So as steam is drawing the milk outwards, it's also injecting the air by capturing the air through that little pinhole right there. Okay, next step, we'll be making espresso. So we do have some lights here on the espresso machine. I really don't pay attention to the lights. I usually allow a 5 to 10 minute warm-up time on this machine. I actually test the group head to see how hot it is and make sure that it's so hot that I can't even keep my finger on it. And the other thing is you want to make sure that you have the portafilter so hot that you can't keep your hand on it. That's how tight that you want it to be. So we're going to grind some coffee. I'm just going to grab a quick rag here or paper towel to dry the basket. I personally love using the 2-cup baskets. The reason is I really don't get extractions with these as good. So we're going to grind some espresso. And as always, I like to overfill. And like I said, you can use the scoop. Go right into the drip tray. Gonna use the El Cheapo tamper. Tamp down. And now I normally like to put my fingers here, but this one is so thin I can't do that. But what I'm trying to achieve is a tamp that is level. Okay, so I'm holding the portafilter, a tamp that is level all the way around. So if you look at the side wall, it's equidistant on both sides. If you tamp sideways this way or this way or this way, the water's gonna channel more to that side and you're not gonna get an even extraction. Again, this has gotta be nice and piping hot. Get that in there. Get our shot glass. And if the grind is right, the amount of coffee is right, the extraction should start in 5 to 7 seconds after I depress the coffee switch. Okay, this is a vibration pump machine. And if you look here on the gauge, we're at about 9 bar. So we're actually not that bad. For me, the pour is coming out a little too fast. I prefer better mouse tails. And we're gonna stop at around 2.5 ounces. So we're getting a ton of crema here. Put that on the side. Let's get the machine into steam mode. We'll press the steam switch. And the one thing that you'll need to do, let's go around the other side. You got to take some water out because it's a dual purpose single boiler, so it's using the same boiler. So we need to make sure that we get some water out to make some air space so the steam can build up. And usually in about 30 to 45 seconds, the steam will be ready. So we have to make some air space. Let's get some milk in here. Using fat-free milk, which is usually pretty difficult to build froth. And again, turbo frother or frothing aid on. And let's bleed one more time right before we start steaming. And bring that out. And we're gonna get in here. I'm just gonna let it sit while I go grab a cup. So the frothing aid is injecting the air for a nice frothy cappuccino. And I like to keep my hand on the bottom there. So wow, we're building up a lot of froth here. I like to keep my hand on the bottom. When it gets too hot to the touch, I know it's kind of ready for consumption. Let's get the espresso in here. And here's your dry cappuccino. Okay, a lot of froth there. If you let it sit a while, you can actually get more milk to make it a wet cappuccino. So if you see here, you let it sit, there's basically more milk. Now there's no espresso in here, but you have more milk, and then you can triple purpose the scoop is put some froth on the top over the wet cappuccino. So there's different ways to make cappuccino. Some people would argue with me. Some people would say that's not the way. You know what is the best way in my opinion? Is what you like. If you're gonna do just steaming milk, take the attachment off and just steam with the pipe here. As far as cleaning, terry cloth, moist with water or moistened with water, and you can also let this soak in water and then just wipe it. No abrasives, no hard detergents, pretty easy to clean. And then as far as your espresso, so you do have a little indentation there. I'm okay with it. There's other people who would argue with me. Again, it's how it tastes. If it tastes great, everything else doesn't matter. When you take it out of steam mode, okay, so to bring the temperature down now, and also refill the internal boiler, you can open that to get water through there, or we could take the steam out through the wand and then hit both switches to get only water through the wand. And once the steam stops and you get a steady stream, we could turn that off, and we brought the temperature back down. Now, this is not a pump pressure gauge. This is a brew pressure gauge. What does that mean? The pump is going to pump enough to get water through the resistance in the puck, which is grind fineness, amount of coffee in the basket, and your tamping and polish. So that creates the resistance. So if you have a weak, basically, or a coarse grind, the brew pressure gauge is showing you what the pressure is at the puck, not at the pump. The pump is only going to produce enough to force the water through the resistance created in the puck here, or the filter basket. So the fact that I got to 9 bar means I kind of had the right grind, the right tamp. I didn't like the mouse tails that came out, so I would go a little finer on the grind, keeping the coffee level the same, the tamping pressure the same. I would go a little finer to create better mouse tails, and that may mean going up to 10 bar here. Now this gauge also sometimes will be 1 bar off than what's in the puck. That's consistent across all different types of machines that I've seen. So this can show 1 bar that's higher than what's in the puck. It's usually higher. In some cases it can be lower. But if you're saying you only get 3 or 4 bar, that's not the machine's fault. That's the grind fault, or the amount of coffee in the basket, or your tamping protocol. So we get some people saying, hey, this machine is defective because it only goes up to 3 bar. This is showing you what's happening here, not what's happening in the pump that's in the back over here. So if you have a really fine grind, the water may not even be able to go through, because inside this machine is an overpressure valve, which is set between around 10 and 11 bar. That'll open up and revert water back to the reservoir. That's why you have 2 hoses. And the intake tank, or the intake hose, has a particle filter. The return, if you see there's actually water in here, it's because the OPV did open up in this case. We do sell an optional water softener by Lelit. We strongly recommend it. It's not included with the machine. That will take particles out and also soften the water, because customers say, oh, I use filtered water. Well, filtered water is not softened water. Softened water, basically we have the magnesium and calcium taken out of the water, and that's what kills machines. 90% of machines that come in for repair is because of hard water. So I strongly suggest getting the Lelit water softener and inserting it, and basically gets replaced every 6 months and recharged once or twice every month. So that's what we recommend for water maintenance. And the froth is still sticking here, but we've had some meshing going on the bottom there. So that's pretty much it on how to use the PL41EM Ana without the PID. Well, if you haven't noticed, I'm actually wearing a Lelit t-shirt here. They actually gave me this t-shirt to wear for the videos. At least I got a t-shirt out of it. That's the way I look at it. So we've had this beverage sitting here. We'll give it a quick taste. Espresso came out good, nice cappuccino. It's got very good texture to it, even though it's been sitting. It's something that I would make again, but I would actually drink it much faster than just letting it sit in here. So again, PL41EM, great little machine. If you notice, it actually has a lot of steam power. It actually kicks butt in the steam power department when you're comparing it to other machines in the sub $500 price range. I'm not going to mention any names, but this machine literally kicks butt. And you saw that here in the steam power. And also, if you don't know how to froth milk, it's actually got the nice frothing aid, which I call turbo frother. It can be called Panarello, different names for different companies. Frothing aid is really the correct term. But a machine that you saw actually heats up very quickly, and it's got a lot of steam power. And this is what I really enjoy about it. Also compact. We do carry a lot of spare parts if needed down the road here at First Line. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Give us a following on the side here, or a thumbs up down below. If you have any questions, please ask down below, or any comments. If you purchased the machine and have questions, you can ask, or you can ask on the Q&A tab on our website. You go to the machine page, we have a Q&A tab where you can ask all sorts of questions, and we will have someone answer them in a timely manner. So we hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Have a great day, and as always, coffee first, everything else afterwards. Take care.